Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm here. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Listen, I want to talk about this whole Frank James, whatever his name is. I want to talk about this whole Brooklyn shooting thing. Wanted to decode it, show you guys some things you may not have seen while looking over the case. And, you can be the judge after I show you the information that I found out. This is the next day of this happening. Mr. James was a YouTuber himself. So he was a person who actually had a daily blog. So daily, he was speaking about things that happened in, actually, let's put up a picture of the guy, right? So actually, he was a person who was a YouTuber, right? And he was dealing with current events, right? That was his main content. He talked about current events. And in him talking about current events, he mentioned a couple of people, Hassan Campbell. He mentioned Kwame Brown. And I believe someone else that was controversial in the YouTube space. But he mainly talked about current events that occurred in the Black community, melanated community, right? And, this guy was driving his U-Haul truck coming from PA, and he came down to New York, and all of a sudden, you know, this event happened. And from my perspective, it seems kind of fishy, right? It seems kind of fishy. And I want to show you guys, if I may, some things, all right? Now, first of all, if you look at this gentleman, Frank James, all right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pictures of who's supposedly this same person, okay? Now, they deleted his YouTube channel, but he had a pretty big following, Mr. James. He had a pretty big following. A lot of his videos were getting like 10 to 16,000 views. Pretty good for just somebody who's talking about day-to-day life and current events in the Black community. He had his issues. He was a disgruntled gentleman. I was actually on another YouTube's page earlier today and saw a couple of his videos. They're trying to say that his videos were disturbing, but I mean, there's times where you get frustrated. And he was talking one time in one of the videos, we're going to get into a little more, but one of the videos he was talking about this YouTuber, Hassan Campbell, pretty popular on YouTube, right? He was caught up in the Africa Bambaataa alleged pedophilia scandal. And, he was talking about him and saying that, saying that Hassan, a lot of times when he's talking about rappers and talking about these people, that he needs to watch himself because he could get killed. Somebody could shoot him. And they're saying, and they're trying to use that and say that, oh, this guy, but made some chilling things and he was a violent person and XYZ. Now, I don't know this man from a can of paint. Does this affect my personal life? No, but in a way it did. My daughter takes that same train to school. Her school was very close. That's the stop she gets off on, the same stop, the 36th Street stop. That's the stop she gets off on to go to school in the morning. So it affects me in a way. But I don't want to frame a man that may or may not be innocent, that may or may not be getting framed. And this is a lesson to all YouTubers. Watch what you say on here, okay? Watch what you say, watch what you're talking about, because they'll use your footage, take it, and spin a narrative to make you seem like you're this crazy psychopathic person. And for what I've seen, now his YouTube channel is deleted. I think it was something 99, something I forget the name. You can look it up, but something not the 99 or whatever. His YouTube channel got deleted this morning, but I saw a couple of videos and he didn't seem like he was a guy that was, you know, like he was just a guy that was talking about, you know, trying to give wisdom to people and trying to give his perspective and his viewpoint to people. But again, it's very important that you look at what you say. All right, so let's get into this narrative. All right, so let's look at some numerology, shall we? 10 people shot in Brooklyn subway shooting, at least 6 more injured. Now, these 10 people, right? Let's do the math. 10 plus 6 is 17, right? All day, every day. That doesn't change. So this is when this first came out. The shooting happened at 8:40 a.m. This happened yesterday, April 12th at 8:40 a.m. So this is the numbers that they first came. All right. These are the numbers that they first came. So remember, this number is 16. We're gonna go into shout out to Al Kibulan 44 on Instagram. Definitely a guy you should follow. He's a great decoder. So look at what he says here. It says suspect was wearing a green vest. Now you're gonna see this play out again. Train 5551. You see it right here, right? 5551, right? He says it. Pay attention to the narrative. Also add 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1, and you get 16, the total number of people that are injured. All right. Not to mention the suspect is 5'5", right? And if you go on his page, you'll also see the New York lottery. The number that hit that day was the number 555. And you're going to also see the number green play out as well. And I'll show you that shortly. All right. So look at the numbers, look at the narrative. All right. Now, 5551 coming out to 16, 16 people hit. 6 plus 1 is 7. All right. Now, 7 in numerology, let's just pull this up just so you guys can get a visual, even though I didn't have this plan. But let's just put this up so you guys can see it, because I always want to show and prove. But the 7 is actually the number of completion. It's the number of godhood, right? It's the number related to the divine. All right. Number of 7 in numerology. Let's see. Is both deep and wise. It's not satisfied with simple explanations of surface level information. All right. It takes an intellectual approach, right? 7 from a God body perspective, from the nation of God's earth, who I studied under. I'm not a member anymore, but who I studied under. They always taught us the number 7 was the number of God, the number of the divine. All right. So obviously 7 has a lot of different, this is an information sponge. It takes in all the data that it can, right? So those are the numbers that are at play. But really the number 7, what I'm dealing with is the number 7 being a number related to the divine. All right. Now they say that this guy had on a gas mask, right? He went on, this is the narrative that they're saying. This is the narrative. This is the narrative. So he recently got caught in Manhattan today. But the story was that he got on the train with a green vest, right? Green construction vest, a gas mask, right? And as you see, look at this gas mask compared, there's a gas mask, all right? There's different type of gas mask. Boom, boom, all right, boom. And well, I'm not going to say that, but let's just say I've had my hands on a gas mask in very recent times, right? So he had on a gas mask, right? This is the narrative. So he had on a gas mask and he used smoke bombs. So he had a gas mask and he used smoke bombs to hide himself. But he also had a book bag. In this book bag, he happened to leave his keys. He happened to leave his ID. He happened to also leave the gun for the cops to find. Now, why would a man go through the trouble and they said he shot 33 people, right? 33 is the number of Christ. And I'm going to show you why this happened, what this all is tying into, the narrative that they're trying to feed into the system, and the distraction that they're trying to distract you from during this particular Holy Week, because it all ties into occultism. And I'm going to show you how it's all tied into magic as well. Why would a man, just think, use your critical thinking, right? Why would a man come on the train with a gas mask, which means he's trying to hide his face, with smoke grenades, right? Not nothing toxic, nothing lethal, just smoke. Why would he be using smoke? I watch Batman movies and Batman cartoons. I know whenever he tries to drops a smoke bomb, he's trying to dip out. He's trying not to be seen. He's trying to be anonymous. So all of a sudden, he has a gas mask, right? But he just happens to leave a book bag, an ID, and the gun for the cops to find. And like I said, he was a YouTuber. This is what they're saying, that his videos are scary, right? Again, I've seen a couple of the videos. He said in the video, one of the videos, he said, yeah, somebody's gonna come at Hassan because he's talking, Hassan Campbell, because he's talking about all the rappers and stuff, and somebody's gonna want to shoot him. That's something I would say. Would I say it on YouTube? No. But that's a logical conclusion. You keep talking trash about people, somebody's gonna come at you, right? Doesn't mean that this guy is a serial killer, right? One of his last videos that they have up there that they're trying to chop up and dissect now and put out in the news, he's like, man, I'm coming to New York. You know, it's kind of triggering me. I haven't been here for a while, you know. And he's talking about, you know, current things that's happening in New York and the crime and the homelessness, you know, just giving a regular take, you know. And he's saying, you know, it drives me crazy sometimes, you know, shit. Sometimes I'll be wanting to shoot people, but I don't want to go to jail, you know, and he's laughing. He's not, he's not, he's not presenting himself like some menace to society, but he's a dark-skinned black male. And I just want you to look at the series of events that's been happening with black men. Will Smith at the Oscars smacked somebody, okay? He smacked somebody. There was also a celestial event, which I uh, covered in my Will Smith decoded video, so you can check that out. When I decoded Will Smith, the Will Smith event, it was a celestial event that happened there. And now there's a celestial event that's happening here. I'm going to show you how they're reinforcing this narrative of black tragedy, right? This is a narrative. Oh, his name is, it's okay. So the channel name is Prophet of Truth. Don't try to look for it. It's not there anymore, people. So it says he contained videos of conspiracy theories. Now, let me tell y'all something. Rob Black Storm, I'm not gonna ever, you know, go out and do anything crazy. I love my life. I love my children. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. You know, I have, you know, regular issues like everybody else, but you know, my spirit is at peace. You know, even in the face of difficulty, I am the eye in the storm. You know, that's how I see myself. So no, this will never happen to me. So I just want to keep you guys informed. Now, the videos are deleted, but they keep saying it's disturbing content. And when I looked at these videos, they're not disturbing content. All right. And he says, it says one of these videos, he was 63 and full of hate as a victim of New York Mayor Eric Adams' mental health program. Right. Again, he didn't say he was full of hate, and he wasn't talking about the mental health program. He was just basically talking about the drug program with the needles being handed out to people that are addicted. All right. So they like to spin things. All right. They're trying to say his videos are scary because he talked about the wildest dreams of his ancestors. He's discussing gang violence and domestic abuse. Will Smith slap. This is a regular guy doing YouTube. But again, you got to be careful with what you say on here because it can be used against you. People are watching and people are listening. Let's go on. So They said, here's what you need to know. Now, like I said, they found a U-Haul truck, right? He was arrested today in New York's East Village, all right? Now, this same gentleman, right, who put on a mask to go down in the train station, who dropped smoke bombs like Batman so that he wouldn't be seen, fleeing the scene, who the cameras, ironically, aren't in this station, which happen to have the number 36, right? 36th Street, which happen to have the number that adds up to 7, which is the number of God, the number of the divine. A week has 7 days, right? It said God rested on the 7th, right? God rested on the 7th day. So it's biblical. It has to do with completion. So this man went through all this to leave his bag, right? And then come out in New York City looking like this. Now, in this picture, they're saying he before and after the shooting. Does this look like a man that had on a green vest and a book bag? He has on a Corona mask. He has on a Corona mask, an anti-Roni mask. If you know that you did something like this, wouldn't you be coming out the subway with the mask? And how do we even know these are the same people? This looks like a totally different jacket. It says James was arrested after intensive manhunt after authorities recovered a U-Haul van in Brooklyn, which officials believed. We don't deal with belief over here. We deal with knowledge, gnosis. Believed was rented by the suspect after keys were found at the scene. This guy would leave the keys in a book bag to the U-Haul truck, which they believed was rented. This doesn't make sense. They say he called in the crime stoppers tip on himself. However, when they went to find him today, he was not at, they say he was at a McDonald's, right? The sources confirm. However, right, look, listen to this. I'm just, use your critical thinking, lose your common sense, all right? Please. Because the Crime Stoppers tip on himself. Said Frank James called in the tip to the police and told them he was at a McDonald's on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. The sources confirmed. Police responded to the McDonald's and did not find James, the police official said, but upon driving around, they spotted him on the corner of St. Mark's Place and First Avenue and arrested him. I was watching this on News 12 here in New York, and he was actually charging his phone at one of the many charging stations they have here on the streets of New York. So if he called it on himself, why would he be charging his cell phone? And there's someone on Twitter who actually is saying that they called the cops on him because they recognized him because of all these different pictures. Where's the pictures? That's weird. Anyway, but all those different pictures, right, that I showed you guys earlier when I first started it. So this story is not making sense. He's masked up, got smoked again, dropped the smoke bombs, but then he's coming out the train station. He's coming out the train station looking like he just came from a bouncing, like he just came from bouncing. There's some reports that said he had a hoodie on. And people saying that he had a hoodie on. Does it look like he has a hoodie on in any of these pictures? Are these even the same man? I've seen this TV show before, people. Let's continue moving on. Why would they do something like this? Eric Adams proposes a $98 billion budget with no cuts for the New York Police Department. Now, let me read off. What he is cutting. What he is actually the mayor here. What he is cutting. He is cutting the Department of Education budget by 826 billion. So that means the kids are not going to be able to get good teachers. He's cutting back the staff, right? He's cutting health and hospitals by 390 million. I thought we're still dealing with the effects of a pandemic here. You're cutting health and hospitals by 390 billion. The Department of Health budget by 195 billion. The Parks Department by 63 million. 60 million for sanitation. While the Department of Correction budget would increase by 53 million. So he's increasing the budget for the correction department. He has no cuts for the NYPD. And all of a sudden, this shooting happens to happen, right? Happens to happen on time. And you know, he's a top chief of police here, okay? $98 billion cut, all right? 65 million from homeless services. If you live here in New York City and you've been downtown recently, if you work in Manhattan, the homelessness is out of control. There's homeless people who will try to assault you, who will try to hurt you. Not really me per se. You know, I don't look like nobody to be played with. But I've had homeless people try me out down there when I was working down there. Post-pandemic, during the pandemic, right? So all of a sudden, right, he's making all these cuts. No cuts for the NYPD, but he's cutting education. He's cutting health. He's cutting the budget on education, which means the kids are going to be dumber. When you are less educated, the more likely you're going to be able to do crime, because the less education you have, the less options you see. He's going to cut the Department of Health. So that means more people with mental health issues are going to be out in the street. Parks Department. So there's going to be less people tending to the parks in the communities. Again, leading to more crime, right? 60 million for sanitation, which means it's going to be a dirtier city. This is what this guy is doing. This is what this guy is doing. So what basically, in my opinion, allegedly, what he's trying to do is get more melanated people in jail. This is also the same guy who said he wanted to cancel drill rap, because drill rap is causing people to you know, causing the kids to be violent. Not the fact that we were in a pandemic for the last 2 years. Not the fact that people lost their jobs and didn't know where their next meal was coming from. Not the fact that people were on lockdown and couldn't go anywhere for damn near a year and were scared to death to even go outside and breathe regular air. No, it's drill music. We need more cops. This is what he wants. All right. This is what he wants. He's messing with the schools, messing with the homeless budget, right? Boom. Cutting thousands of school workers and new budgets. So without the school workers, what are the kids going to do? Without the school programs, what are the children going to do? Commit crime? Where are they going to go next? In jail? What is jail? The 13th Amendment, modern day slavery. But there's a deeper, more sinister play at work during this Holy Week, right? Because it is the Holy Week. There's Easter this Sunday. We just had Palm Sunday. They have a full moon this Saturday. Let's continue. Now, I just want you to see a parallel, okay? Let's look at this. I'm not going to go through the whole story. You guys know who this is, George Floyd, okay? He was murdered by a Minneapolis policeman. Now, George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, the cops that had his knee on George Floyd's neck, they knew each other. They worked at the same restaurant. They worked at the same restaurant establishment or the same nightclub. They knew each other. He worked security inside the club, and Derek Chauvin worked security outside the club. I've done security. Security people talk to each other. We communicate with each other. Even if we first come in and we meet each other, just so we can coordinate things. But I want you to look at the numbers. 36th and Park Avenue, all right? Keep these numbers in mind, 36th and Park Avenue, all right? So the ambulance carrying George Floyd again called for assistance for the fire department, asking them to meet at the corner of 36th Street and Park Avenue. Oh, 36th Street and Park Avenue. Now, let's go. So right here, 36th Street and Park Avenue, okay? Keep that in mind. So this is when George Floyd got shot. Meanwhile, the ambulance carrying Floyd again called for assistance for the fire department, asking them to meet at the corner of 36th Street and Park Avenue and reporting that Floyd was going into cardiac arrest, okay? So this is where they picked them up, 36th Street and Park Avenue. Now look at this. Shooting at Brooklyn subway station. 36th Street, Sunset Park. Okay? 36th Street, Sunset Park. 36th Street and Park Avenue. Thirty-sixth Street and Park Avenue. 36th Street and 4th Avenue in Sunset Park. Now, my opinion, my perspective, the George Floyd thing was staged. As soon as George Floyd thing got shot, millions and millions of dollars were pumped into Black Lives Matter. All of a sudden, Joe Biden had historical record of fundraising. Biden and Democrats rated a historical 383 million. This was October 14, 2020. Now, this guy is as energetic and as enlivening and as inspirational as a dead fish. Who watches this guy? Now, you could say Obama's a great orator, right? I'll give that to Obama. He was a great, great orator, gave great speeches, right? Shoot, some of them gave me the chills, even though I knew he was lying, right? But he was a great orator. How does this guy, of all the presidents, have historic fundraising after all this money gets funneled to Black Lives Matter? And what did Black Lives Matter do but get some streets painted with dead ancestors? And take money and buy luxury homes that do nothing for the community, influencer houses and stuff like that. It's not allegedly, that's a fact. So the 36 and Park, there's no such thing as coincidence, only confirmation. So the 36 and Park of George Floyd is the same 36th and Park, Sunset Park, for the Brooklyn gunman. Now, I personally believe that this is going to lead to more surveillance, give them excuse for more cameras. In fact, they were just saying, I was looking at something on the Hill, which is on YouTube, and they were saying that, let's see if I could pull it up. They were saying that let me see if I can pull it up. I'm not sure, but they were saying that he's talking about I don't see it here, but basically he's talking about you could follow the Hill on YouTube, but he's talking about that doing some type of TSA type of inspections before you get on the train now. Why weren't the cameras on in these subway stations? Why are you talking about TSA type of clearances to get on the train so that you could have further surveillance and erase people's privacy more and more? And that's what's going to happen. There's going to be more and more cameras on the train, more and more surveillance, right? But there's another reason that's even deeper than all of that. Let's go into that. As I've been talking about all week, there's this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, all right? When Jupiter and Neptune are getting together, all right? This hasn't happened since 1856, all right? With Jupiter and Neptune are meeting in the sign of Pisces, all right? This happened, it says 1343 UTC. So a rare celestial event is taking place this Tuesday, April 12th, which was yesterday, at exactly 1343. Yesterday, Tuesday, April 12th, is when the Brooklyn shooter went and shot up the train, right? Fired 33 times, right? 33, Jesus died at 33. Just want to give you some more numbers, okay? We saw the 36, right? 36, 3 and 6, all right? 36, 3, what the Bible say? 666 is the number of man, all right? The mark of the beast. So 3 6, 3 6s, okay? St. George Floyd, now this event. Let's see what's transpiring. But this happened on April 12th, exactly 1343. Let's look at what time 1343 universal time is. Now, Jupiter, just for y'all who didn't watch the video, I'm not going to go too deep. I've been talking about it all week. You can check out my videos. Jupiter is a planet of abundance and expansion. Neptune is the planet of water, but also that deals with spirit, imagination, fantasy, right? But this event was happening at 1343. The event, this Brooklyn shooting, happened at 8:40 a.m. The conjunction peaked at 1343 universal time is 9:43 a.m. universal time. So when we talk about distractions, the distraction is not just a distraction to have shift your focus, from one story to another or away. It's really to shift you away from your divine downloads. It's to shift you away from your divine gifts. It's to shift you away from gifts from the cosmos, gifts for the universe, gifts from God itself. It was to shift your attention away from this rare conjunction where you could think things into reality, where you could produce miracles using this rare conjunction that hasn't been here since March 17, 1856, where you could think positive. And today is the 13th. You could do this today and you could do this tomorrow. This conjunction is still in effect. But as it was peaking, right? This is what happened. It's not a coincidence. This is the distraction. They're trying to distract you away from tapping into your divinity, from tapping into your power, from tapping into your ability to shape this matrix and burn down Babylon, so to speak, and create the life that you want for yourself and think the thoughts that you need to think for yourself. And also to demonize the melanated man. Remember, in slavery, they didn't tie a black woman to two horses, tar and feather her, and whip each horse so that the woman splits apart in front of the father and child. No, it was the father that was tarred and feathered, tied to two horses, and whipped and separated so that they could put fear in the mother and fear in the child. And also know that the mother cannot depend on the black man. They can only depend on themselves. The same thing is happening. The Will Smith event happened. We talked about that. Now, remember what did Alki Boulan 44 say? He said the number, he was wearing a green vest, all right? Green vest. What's your boy, Ho Biden? Why is it not playing? Oh, here we go. I just want to show you what's behind, homie. Remember, the suspect was wearing a green vest, right? That's what they said. What does he have behind him? Two green tractors in Iowa. And the first thing he talked about was, of course, this Brooklyn shooting. Why in the pictures of this man does he already have orange on, which is a color that's related to your sacral chakra or your sexual chakra or the chakra of arousal, but also that is already prison uniform colors, orange jumpsuits, right? And are these even both the same person? Or does this guy, based on what he's been saying on social media, fit the profile and is an easy person to put the blame on? No coincidence, only confirmation. Again, they said this guy had on a hoodie. Actually, let's go, because they've been talking about this, right? It doesn't make sense. He left a gun, the defaced gun. It also says again here, they believe the gun was purchased lawfully in Ohio by a guy named Frank Robert James. There goes that belief again. Not they know, they believe. Could he be under MK Ultra? Could he have been paid? Or was this a Caucasian person behind the mask? And they're setting this poor guy up. Now look what happened today, this morning. Two more people stabbed on the platform, on the New York subway platform. This was just today, 7 hours ago. Today's the 13th. Yesterday this happened on the 12th, when the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction came in. See, with this Jupiter Neptune conjunction, you're supposed to be thinking positive. You're supposed to be having positive thoughts. You're supposed to be engaged in meditation, right? This is the Holy Week. So he's supposed to be engaged in high level spirituality, manifesting, changing behavior, right? Goal setting, starting new plans. It's also Aries, which is the cosmic celestial new year. But there's all these attacks. Let's look at what they're doing today. Oh, they got something for you to give you more trauma on top of trauma. So you got the Will Smith. Now you got more trauma. They're going to have a nice police video for you. A la this guy again, George Floyd. Okay. A la this guy, right? This is how you found this out about this. There was a police video. Now they got another video. I'm not going to show the video. This just dropped. 18, well, when I pulled this up, let's say probably about 40 minutes ago, but they got another video for you about this man getting killed by the police during the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. They don't want you to use this energy for yourself, folks, during this Holy Week. And I believe that this guy is being framed. This guy, Frank James, I believe he's being framed based on the evidence. It's not adding up. If you look at this particular movie, He Got Game. At the end of the movie, He Got Game. Let's see what I have up here. What's this stuff I'm pulling up here? All right. At the end of the movie, He Got Game, right? And I'm going to end it on this, right? At the end of the movie, if you watch this movie, He Got Game, and yeah, I'm spoiling the ending because this movie is like 1 billion years old. So most people have seen this by now. But at the end of the movie, He Got Game, right? He's basically, the plot of the movie was Denzel Washington was doing life in prison, and the warden wanted Ray Allen, who played Denzel's son, to go to the warden wanted Ray Allen's son. The warden wanted Ray Allen to play for the warden's alma mater, the warden's college, right? The warden's own college, which was Big State. So the warden released Denzel, who was Ray Allen's father, and Ray Allen was the top basketball prospect in the movie, and basically released Denzel on the low just so he could come out and convince Ray Allen to sign a letter of intent to go to Big State. And that's what the movie was about, right? The different temptations, how he's being recruited, the boosters that were going after Ray Allen, so forth and so on. But at the end of the movie, Ray Allen decided not to go to Big State, right? And then he changed his mind and told his father, because he knew that his father would have gotten out of jail, which is what the warden promised him, he then decided to go to Big State. But the warden lied to him, right? And the warden scooped him up, put him back in jail, and said that he escaped from the jail. Basically, they painted a false narrative of Denzel and what really happened. I believe that's exactly what's happening to this guy, James Frank or Frank James, whatever his name is, right? I believe that's what's happening to this guy. A He Got Game scenario. The same He Got Game scenario that we got gamed with by the whole George Floyd setup. I believe this guy is a sacrifice. I believe this guy was planted. And I believe it's all designed, just like they dropped, again, this police video, and people are going to watch and be triggered and stressed out, to lower your vibration, to take you away from this grand energy of what's actually happening. Also, the shooter, right? This guy who shot 16 people, and they're saying it's more, but he didn't kill nobody. Everybody got shot in the leg. Everybody got shot in the leg, the thigh. Nobody got shot in the head. Nobody got murdered. For a guy who they're trying to say, right? for a guy who they're trying to say his videos were so scary, who dropped a smoke bomb and wore a mask, would leave his ID, his book bag, his flash grenades, right? And they're also trying to say that, oh, they found the receipt for him buying the smoke bombs. There was someone with the same name. I keep forgetting this guy's name. Frank James. Yeah, Frank James. They said someone named Frank James was buying firecrackers, which would be these smoke bombs, right? That they're supposedly saying. He bought firecrackers and smoke bombs at the same location. They showed a receipt. But this was in 2021. So you mean to tell me he's going to shoot a YouTube video the day before he's coming to New York? He's going to be holding these smoke bombs since 2021. He's going to wear a mask to go on the train, even though they show his guy coming on the train with no bag. I'm just going off what they're saying, right? I'm going off what they're saying. You release surveillance photos of Frank James before and after the shooting on the Brooklyn subway. He ain't got no bag. He ain't got no bag. He ain't got no bag he's going on with or coming off with. Let's say they flip the pictures. Where's the bag that had these explosive, where he left his gun, the keys, his ID? Like, come on, man. Come on. They're trying to keep you in trauma. They're trying to destroy the image of the black male, right? And they're trying to keep your vibration as low as possible. You think this is a coincidence, right? Also, the New York Post had an article about black women needing to date white men recently. Oh, they don't have it here. But there was an article, you can look this up. There was an article in the New York Post. There was an article in the New York Post. I guess they don't have it here. Yeah, but okay, so somebody dropped a YouTube video about it. I don't want to pull up the video, but let's see if they have a thumbnail or something. But this was on April 1st. Today's the 13th. So the Will Smith snap. All right, I guess they removed it. So the Will Smith smack. Now this guy, a black man. Now they're showing a guy getting shot by a police officer. This guy, all sorts of, who is this guy? There's all sorts of different faces of this particular person. He could be anybody, right? This is what they said they found this bag that he had, but in the pictures of him going on, they don't show him having the bag. I mean, come on, people. Come on. And they found the gun and all this stuff, and they just want to say this guy is crazy. They're trying to take you away from this energy that is on the planet this week. We've had a ton of solar flares that have been hitting the planet. Solar energy. I've been talking about this. Check out my solar flare video. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to make this a 2-hour video. Look, there's another coronal mass ejection is hitting the Earth. Okay, there's one that hit Sunday. There's one that hit Monday. There's one that's going to hit tomorrow on the 14th. So keep your vibration high, people. Don't worry about these things. You are protected. Don't give in to fear, worry, and instability. Know that you're protected. Know that you're a divine being. Wear your protective crystals, your black obsidian, your onyx, your black tourmaline, right, if you need to. And keep an inner smile. Keep an inner smile and find a way to laugh every day. Find a way to have a laugh every day. But don't get caught up in worry. Don't get caught up in anxiety, because now is the time to transcend those things and ram forward. This is the energy with a warrior in you. Aries is the warrior energy in you, where you revitalize that and you take hold and take hold and put the keys in the engine of your life, where you're fearless, where you break out the box, where you do what you are here to do, what your purpose is. Don't get gamed. Don't get gamed. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about in the comments. Am I crazy? Do I sound stupid? Do I sound retarded? Or does this make sense? Does the 36 in a park, everything add up? Or am I losing it? And let's see what happens after this, right? Let's see the developments and the laws and what's going on. How does this coincide with the budget cuts that Eric Adams is doing, right? Which is definitely going to lead to more people becoming incarcerated, which is definitely going to be accentuating and empowering the school to prison pipeline, right? Which basically states that they have a map that children's grade scores, children's third grade scores, they could determine how many children are going to grow up and go to prison based on children's third grade scores. And now with the pandemic, with parents being unstable, with inflation, prices of gas going up, supply chain issues. They just talked about reinstating a mask mandate in Pennsylvania. They extended the mask mandate on planes, trains, and automobiles. It was supposed to expire in 5 days. All these things happening, and now you have all this chaos ensuing. Make sure that you're the eye on the storm. Peace, power, prosperity. Rob Blackstone.